going to be totally honest with you. I love slice 28 and several of the slices that are to come. I feel like there's a lot we can get out of our writing very quickly through these slices. So let me get us going here. In this slice, you are going to be writing complex sentences. Now, complex sentences are when you have a dependent clause and an independent clause joined together by a subordinating conjunction. And the subordinating conjunctions that we're going to use in this lesson are before, after, or when. Okay, so each one of your sentences will use one of those words in it. Okay, so here is the big lesson out of this. If you begin your sentence with a part that tells when, then you'll have a comma where the period was. But you'll also just hear a natural pause, so you'll just kind of know there's a comma that needs to go there. Another way to think of it is if you begin your sentence with a part that tells when, where, if, although, unless, because, or as, then you'll have a comma after that part. However, if the when part is in the middle of the sentence, so if you put your subordinating conjunction in the middle of a sentence, then you will not need a comma. All right, so let's go ahead and see this in action. So number one, I was bitten by a tarantula. I had a terrible fear of spiders. Well, we could do this several different ways. And with each one of these sentences, many of them could be written in a couple different ways. I don't want you to focus so much on choosing the right way versus choosing what makes sense. So you'll have to experiment a little bit with the before, after, and when, and with the placement, like at the beginning of the sentence or the middle, to find out what makes the most sense. So for me, I definitely don't need to be bitten by a tarantula to have a terrible fear of spiders. So before I was bitten by a tarantula, I had a terrible fear of spiders. Okay, so if I'm putting that subordinating conjunction at the beginning of the sentence, then that period after tarantula is going to be changed to a comma. And then altogether, I will have before I was bitten by a tarantula, comma, I had a terrible fear of spiders. Of course, some of you might say, well, it's actually after I was bitten by the tarantula that I had the terrible fear. So, you can do either one of those. That's fine. It's fine. It's just the big thing here to note is if you start with that subordinating conjunction, you will need to have the comma in place of that period. Okay, let's take a peek at number two. Finish your orange juice, you brush your teeth. For those of you who have brushed your teeth, sorry, for those of you who have had orange juice to drink after you've brushed your teeth, you know that the taste is pretty awful. So you want to finish your orange juice before you brush your teeth. If you haven't experienced that before, I don't recommend doing it the opposite way. So since the before is in the middle of a sentence, there will be no comma. Altogether, it will be finish your orange juice before you brush your teeth. Okay, so again, because it's in the middle of the sentence, it's not at the start, there will be no comma. All right? Number three, I was riding to the store. I heard a loud bang. Now, this one, it can go a couple different ways. For me, naturally, I just throw the when in the middle. So I was riding to the store when I heard a loud bang. However, you could put the when at the beginning. And if you do that, then you'll have a comma where that period is. So when I was riding to the store, comma, I heard a loud bang. So notice if you start with the when, you'll have that comma after store. So either one of those makes complete sense. It's just up in this case, it's personal preference. Okay. So again, with these, there are multiple answer options for them. You'll just need to see what makes the most sense. And that's the big thing. Make sure it makes sense and make sure that if you start your sentence with the word, you have a comma. But if the word is in the middle of the sentence, then no comma. All right. So you will be completing numbers 1 through 10. And if you do have further questions, feel welcome to check us out at office hours or send an email.